it goes. Stats can lie, people, and Elton Jenkins and Lane Taylor are worlds apart as far as talent, and Elton Jenkins is the highest-rated rookie offensive lineman. He has played, before tonight's game started, there was an article out, he had played 45 snaps or whatever and had 0 pass pressures. And that's pretty impressive, okay? Because he's been in, he's been out, he's been moved all over the line from guard to center, both guard spots. So I would say that's a pretty impressive thing. But get a chance, even if you've already heard this stuff before, just give us a listen. Give a listen back to the post-draft special that we had back in April with Dave and I, and you'll kind of get up to speed with where the guys are just catching up to what we had seen, right, with the way that they had drafted and the guys they had picked up in free agency. All right, that being said, it is time to go to break so we can get the one and only Monty from the Full Monty Football Show on here to talk some Packers, Jets, and Titans with you folks. So stay tuned. We'll be right back off a break, and I will get Monty on the phone, folks.
I've been grinding so long, been trying this shit for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.
And it is good to be alive right about now, and we are joined by the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that runs the Full Monty Football Show. Monty, say hello.
Hey, guys, I'm so glad to be here. That's quite an introduction. The man, the myth, the legend. Listen, I've been called worse, so I will take that anytime, any day.
Well, like I told you, if anybody had missed the show, which was an awesome experience 2 weeks ago when I was on, I teased. I said, dude, I've never done this before. The pressure's on, so I'm going to reverse the angles. And boy, did we do it quick. So I'm appreciative that we can get you on our show so that you can get a chance to talk your head off instead of listening to all these other people talk at you all the time.
Well, when I have guests like you on, we have guests all across the country. Again, my show's every Sunday at 11 a.m. I've learned a long time ago, the less I talk, the smarter my show becomes. So you did a tremendous job. I got over 100 emails about when you came on. So I really appreciate the knowledge you gave us about the Green Bay Packers. And again, thanks for having me on tonight.
Oh, no problem. But this is a tradition on the show that we do with all of our first-time guests. and it's what we like to call brag time. So we just give you a few minutes to give where you came from, how you got to where you're going, all your social media tags, your plugs, all your projects you got. Hype yourself up, give yourself a pat on the back, a big hug. That's what it's all about. It's brag time. So go ahead, Monty.
You could follow me on Twitter. Just Google The Sports Whisperer. I write for numerous websites, including nutsandboltsports.com. I had a radio show in New Jersey called The Monte Cristo Show. I moved down to Florida. I started my own show, again, every Sunday at 11 a.m. I've written about 500 articles over the past 2 years, mostly sports, some political articles as well. But the good news is for football fans is every Monday, starting next week, I have the top 5 things we learned about in college football. And then on Wednesday, I have the top 5 things we learned about the NFL. So if you're a football fan, definitely follow me on Twitter. Again, you could just Google The Sports Whisperer or type in my Twitter screen name, Monte, M-O-N-T-E, JP231, Monte JP231.
Yes, and I'll tell you this much. The more I've done this show, the more people I meet to follow, and I start to wonder myself how much I love football, and it's like, how did I not know this guy was out there? How was I not following this guy like years ago? And you are definitely one of those guys at the top of my list that I've recently come across and been able to follow, and you do a great job on your writing. The show is absolutely phenomenal. The guests are just great. There's a lot of knowledge there, so if you haven't listened to it, you got to go to blogtalkradio.com and then find Nuts and Bolts Sports and listen to his show, because it is absolutely 100% fun. He does the exact same thing we do here. It's all about the how and the why and teaching you guys and learning stuff at the same time. So it's another great sports
Actually,
angle.
let me just interject. All you have to do is type in the full Monty Football Show, and you'll see. Just Google that, and you'll see. It's so easy to just hear my show. We're on iPod. We're all over. So type in the full Monty Football Show.
Well, there you go. See, he made it even easier for you, folks. It can't get any easier than that. There's no excuses now. All right, well, let's get right into it. Now, I gave you some questions, but when I was listening before I got on last week, right, you had you talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And one of your, I don't know if it was one of your bad or one of your uglies, but you'd brought up the Baker Mayfield chugging a beer thing, right? And your take was that, like, guys like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and those guys didn't have to do it. But I was kind of laughing, and I was going to get to it before because I was kind of giving you a hard time about this, Monty, because actually Aaron Rodgers has done this. This thing started with Aaron Rodgers, but it actually started with Rodgers' left tackle, David Bakhtiari, at the Bucs
at a basketball game.
Right.
Yes.
And then it was followed by Mitch Trubisky did it, Matthew Stafford did it, Kirk Cousins did it, and there was a bunch of other players, not just, quarterbacks, but a bunch of people did it. And I thought it was all in good fun. But so I was just going to give you a hard time about that because, Aaron Rodgers did take part in this. He was terrible at it.
The only reason I say that is because Baker Mayfield, I'm going to talk about this again on Sunday. He opened his mouth again. Now, he said he didn't say it. He's talking about the Giants drafting Daniel Jones. He's talked about Sam Ehlinger, the quarterback of Texas recently, saying, I don't like him. He doesn't like me. He knows it. Like, Baker, you're the leader of the football team, okay? You're 1-5 against winning teams. Walk softly and carry a big stick. You're talking so much. You're putting a bullseye on your team's back. Win first. If you want to talk and chug beers, win first. Now, everyone came at me because they said Rob Gronkowski does this all the time. Rob Gronkowski is not my quarterback. I want my quarterbacks to be a little bit more mature. I'm all for trash talking if someone gets in your face and you're winning, but he's never won a national championship. He's had numerous off-the-field problems, and now he's chugging the beer. It's like, Baker, you're not in a fraternity anymore. Grow up, be the leader of the team. And I'm not that guy who says, get off my lawn. I'm a former college basketball coach. I know trash talking goes on. I love enthusiasm. I love celebrations. But it's chugging the beer and everything else that Baker does. He just needs to grow up a little bit.
And look, Baker is actually on my list of one of the guys that I've really grown just in his last kind of year of college. Now, me, you have to understand, Monty, just a little background here. I'm 5'8", 168, right? And I used to be an MMA fighter until I broke my neck. I was on my way up, all right? So I've got that little scrappy. I mean, I knocked my wife's legs out one time when my kids were 2 and 3 when we were playing Red Rover, come over because she was blocking the couch and the wall. And I'm just that competitive. So that in me, I'm endeared to athletes that have that almost over the edge take because I was a psychopath out there. I never got penalties for fighting and stuff, but I was an absolute competitive psychopath to the absolute brink of, that border. I respect that in Baker, but I will say this. The stuff talking about other players is a no-go for me. That has nothing to do with trash talking. That doesn't have anything to do with what the stuff I was just talking that I like about him. That's just bad business in any business, Monty, and I will agree with there. It doesn't matter if you're winning, losing. That's a non-starter in the professional world and even the amateur world. It's kind of bush league to be talking about somebody else, especially when, look, you were the number one pick. What do you care what some other team picked another quarterback for? So I will agree with you there.
And again,
that turned me off.
He attacked the Texas quarterback. It's like, Baker, when you go to pros, college people look up to you. You still have a rivalry with the Texas quarterback. Like, grow up. I agree with everything you're saying. I love his competitiveness. I think the players really like him. I love his feistiness. But again, 1-5 against winning teams. Start winning. Don't put a bullseye on the team because there's so many personalities on that team. Someone needs to lead. And look, there's different ways to lead. Tom Brady, he's fiery on the sideline. People listen to him. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. My whole thing with Baker Mayfield, it wasn't the chugging of the beer. It was like 4 or 5 things that led up to that.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and I guess I was just trying to razz you a little bit, but it's a good way to it's a good way to conversate too. I was specifically just wanting to razz you, like, dude, come on, you should know, like, that was on the national media about how terrible Rodgers was at chugging beer, like.
It was no, I know Rodgers did, and he didn't even finish his beer.
No, he couldn't even do it. I mean, that's how bad it was. But it was. So that's enough of that talk. But yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that stuff. There's a time and a place for all that. And when you're an NFL quarterback running an NFL franchise, whether you're in your first or second year, there's a standard of how you have to act off the field. And a lot of this stuff off the field, to me, again, right, you said it, maturity needs to be interjected into that behavior off the field. On the field, I think it's all good as far as I'm concerned.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you 1,000%. But you got to look at the Browns too. They don't have a winning culture, right? If this happened in New England, something would have been done. It happened in a winning program, something would have been done. The Browns have a rookie coach who's never been at that level before. I lived in New Jersey most of my life. For all of Odell Beckham Jr.'s accolades, he's never won a big game. Has Jarvis Landry ever won a big game? No. So these are all young guys. Hopefully they'll grow up together. But look, I have Cleveland winning 10 games this year, so I think Baker will be fine.
Wow, there you go. See, so all the people out there that are trying to ride him, that saying he doesn't like Baker, you heard it straight out of his mouth. You know what his issues are now, so back off, right? Like, you know what it is. See, if you're going to come at him, come correct from now on social media.
I have him winning 10 games, so
there you go.
I think Cleveland winning will be exciting for the NFL.
All right, well, let's get right into this, Monty. First question we got for you is Tannehill versus Mariota. Is Mariota going to lose his job at some point this season to Ryan Tannehill?
Well, full disclosure, I am a Marcus Mariota fan, but this is a make or break year for him. But first, let's talk about Ryan Tannehill. In 11 games last year, he was one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. For his career, he's 42 wins, 46 losses, and has a completion percentage of 62%. If Tannehill is the answer, the Titans need to change the question. He's a backup. Now, want to talk about Mariota. When he came into the league as the number 2 overall pick in 2015, Ken Wisenhunt was the head coach. He gets fired midway through the season. Mike Mularkey takes over the team. Mularkey has a career record of 36-53. He gets fired. They bring in Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel hires Matt LaFleur to be his offense coordinator. After 1 year, Matt LaFleur became the head